our friends, and we are treating them like trash. We are bullying them. And you know, it's as if, like, I look at this thing in Mexico and I'm thinking, okay, as if deporting good, hardworking immigrants wasn't enough.
On The View, Sunny Hostin was left speechless and even booed into silence over her comments on Trump's tariffs. The debate quickly escalated as the audience reacted, leaving the hosts and viewers stunned. Have you ever seen such a heated exchange over tariffs on a talk show? This moment certainly had everyone talking. It all began on The View during a heated political debate about Trump's tariffs, immigration, and trade policies with Canada and Mexico. The conversation took a sharp turn when the panel began discussing the controversial tariffs imposed by the Trump administration. Whoopi Goldberg, known for her outspoken views, didn't hold back. "These tariffs are hurting everyday Americans." The audience responded with boos, particularly when Meghan McCain defended the tariffs, claiming they were necessary for national security. The tension escalated when Joy Behar remarked, "This is not about securing borders. It's about punishing the American people for political games." The boss grew louder, especially when Behar criticized Trump's hardline stance on immigration, stating, "This isn't patriotism, it's pure spite." The clash over immigration policies, border security, and trade left the hosts and audience visibly divided, with both sides passionately defending their positions.
And I'll just say, you know, Mexico, Canada, and China together accounted for more than 40% of total U.S. imports last year. But more importantly, Canada and Mexico are the top buyers of U.S. exports in more than 72% of all export categories.
The View crew has always prided itself on standing up for immigrants, talking big about compassion and protecting the vulnerable. But this time, their rhetoric didn't quite line up with their actions. While they preached empathy, their actual solutions seemed, well, a bit empty. But the real drama? That came when the hosts began discussing the impact of tariffs and trade deals. The big issue? Tariffs placed on goods coming from Mexico and Canada, which, as you might imagine, have sparked massive debates across the country. Should we hit our neighbors with these tariffs, or is it a betrayal of long-standing partnerships? Well, not everyone was on the same page. Far from it, in fact.
Canadian citizens showed how they felt about these tariffs at NBA and NHL games over the weekend. Take a look. And I have to say, even the conservative media is warning about the price Americans are going to pay for this. So, I mean, everybody say, hey, this is a bad idea, this is a bad idea, this is a bad idea.
Ana Navarro recently delivered a passionate critique on the potential impact of tariffs on Mexican imports, particularly highlighting popular items like tequila and avocados. In an emotional appeal, Navarro expressed her deep concern about the possible price hikes, stating, "I cannot imagine paying more for my breakfast burrito. It's personal." She argued that such tariffs would make everyday food staples unaffordable for many. However, her argument focused primarily on the financial burden on consumers, without addressing the broader context of the tariffs. These were being imposed as a response to serious concerns, such as the increasing flow of fentanyl across the border. While Navarro's emotional perspective resonated with some, many felt she missed the larger issue at play. The debate surrounding tariffs is complex, balancing economic and security concerns against the cost of goods for everyday people.
So now, if there are these tariffs, that's going to cause problems, billions of dollars of problems. Let's say it's your coffee, you have a coffee store, and you're going to sell a cup of coffee, and your coffee is $5. We know how expensive coffee is, right? Yeah. You sell coffee for $5. Now the coffee beans coming in from Mexico are now $5 more.
That came courtesy of Sunny Hostin. And y'all, if you weren't watching when this happened, you missed something legendary. So, Sunny had this wild moment where she tried to explain the economic impact of a 25% tariff. According to her, if you slap a 25% tariff on a $5 cup of coffee, that coffee would suddenly cost $10. Yeah, you heard that right. It's one thing to have a hot take, but this was beyond crazy. Anyone with even a basic understanding of economics knows that's not how tariffs work. But Sunny was out here talking like that was solid math. and her panel just nodded along like it made sense. What? Are we serious right now? Now, obviously, the internet didn't take kindly to Sunny's math, and the backlash was swift. People were roasting her left and right on social media, calling out her huge factual error. But what was even more alarming than the math mistake was the fact that nobody on the panel called her out on it in real time. Like, everyone just rolled with it, as if it was normal. Was this show really unscripted? Enter Whoopi Goldberg, who took the emotional appeal to the next level. When she started talking, it felt like the entire studio went into slow motion mode. She tried to remind everyone that we need to be sensitive to other countries' feelings, particularly Canada. According to Whoopi, if Canadians are booing our national anthem, that's a sign we're doing something wrong. She even tried to argue that the US shouldn't push too hard on trade deals or tightening border policies because, well, we need to keep global peace. Now, at first, this might sound like a valid point. Who doesn't want good relations with other countries, right? But the deeper issue here is that it's just not realistic to keep playing nice when certain neighbors are dragging their feet on issues that impact American citizens directly. Like, for example, drug trafficking, illegal immigration, and security. Whoopi's approach was definitely one of diplomacy, but it seemed to ignore the tough realities on the ground. But you know what the best part was? As the conversation escalated, it wasn't Whoopi's rhetoric or even Anna's impassioned speeches that made waves. No, the real fireworks came when Sunny Hostin casually dropped a bombshell of an endorsement, one that made the entire room go silent. In the middle of the chaotic discussion, Sunny Hostin, in a moment of what seemed like sheer panic, dropped this line. Maybe RFK Jr. can fix that. People literally looked around, unsure whether to cheer, boo, or just stare in stunned silence. RFK Jr.? The guy who's been cast as a villain by mainstream media for years? The guy who's talked about the environment, questioned vaccine policies, and been labeled controversial in more ways than one? But there she was, endorsing him, accidentally of course, and sending the entire audience into a frenzy. It wasn't just that she said it, it was the fact that in that moment, Sunny unintentionally validated someone who's been painted as a fringe figure. That was the real game changer. And how did the audience react? The response was a mix of confused gasps, awkward silences, and some low-key boos. They didn't know how to handle it. It was like their programming had short-circuited. The audience had been conditioned to boo RFK Jr. and anyone associated with him. But now, here was one of their own hosts saying, maybe he's got a point. After that accidental endorsement, Sunny tried to quickly backpedal. You could see her regretting the words as soon as they left her mouth, but the damage was done. That one moment exposed something huge. The View's carefully curated narrative was much more fragile than anyone had realized. What followed was a desperate scramble to make things seem normal again. But once the audience caught a glimpse of the truth, they couldn't unsee it. It was like the mask had slipped, and the real political theater was on full display. It's not just about tariffs or trade, it's about the narrative that gets pushed on shows like The View. It's about how the hosts, like the rest of the media, shape public opinion by simplifying complex issues and pushing emotional reactions. When something challenges that narrative, even by accident, it causes chaos. At the end of the day, this entire meltdown serves as a wake-up call for all of us. How much of the political discourse in mainstream media is grounded in facts, and how much is just an emotional roller coaster designed to keep you hooked? Look, we all love a juicy debate, but when hosts like Sunny, Whoopi, and Anna start ignoring the realities of economics, trade, and border security for the sake of political theatrics, we have to ask ourselves, what else are they getting wrong? And let's not forget that it wasn't just the hosts making waves here. The audience reaction, those confused gasps, those awkward moments, those hesitant boos, showed just how deeply embedded the emotional narratives have become. People are conditioned to react to certain names, certain ideas, without even considering the facts. So, what do you think, fam? Were you surprised by Sunny's accidental endorsement of RFK Jr.? Or was it just another day in the world of political drama on daytime TV? Drop your thoughts below. We want to know, did this meltdown make you rethink how much you trust the political discourse we're fed on TV? Share your thoughts in the comments below. We want to hear what you think about this whole View scandal. And don't forget to like and subscribe for all the latest gossip, insider info, and breaking news. You won't want to miss what's coming next. Trust us, this drama is far from over.